getting your tools onto NanoHub for Jupyter stuff is actually quite easy. The only things you need is a GitHub account, which is just a good idea overall if you're doing computation and stuff. A NanoHub account, which you should have by now. And some sort of interface with GitHub. I'm gonna use Git Bash. You're free to use GitHub Desktop, but I like to use Git Bash for some reasons that we are gonna get into by the end of this. And after we've done this part on here, you can already actually start getting your tool online on the NanoHub side of things because they do a manual review that takes a few days. And once you get your tool online, you're not necessarily going to make it public. So you're still going to have a chance to alter everything you want, then actually make it. So it's not that problematic. So I'm going to paste all of these. Why? NanoHub you don't need. GitHub. Just chat. And here's the interface that I'm going to use. And when I actually start talking about GitHub, the only real thing you have to pay attention to are the verbs. From the verbs, you can learn how to use GitHub pretty easily, in my opinion. Or it's not easily, straightforwardly. Oh, and never mind the last bullet point there. That's for not necessary for us. So here are the steps, 12 easy steps to getting things online. First, we are going to fork this repository on the right here that has all of the infrastructure files you need. Then we are going to clone the repository to your local machine, so bringing it from online to local. Then we are going to replace all of the defaults from the repository with your Jupyter notebook and some other files that need editing. We are going to choose a short name for your tool, which is quite important and cannot be changed. That's the only thing you will not be able to change ever again. But nobody's actually going to see it because it's only going to be a part of the URL for the tool. It should be logged in to another thing. Then I can this. So if I go to a tool, here we see that the URL is NanoHub tools Tellurium. Tellurium in this case is the short handle that you're going to choose later on. Of course, it needs to be unique and it cannot be Tellurium. Then we're going to replace all the references in the files in the repository to your notebook and whatever else. Finally, we are going to commit all of the changes, so getting them ready to be online afterwards. And push them online, so going from local in your machine to online. Then we are going to check that one file is executable by NanoHub, otherwise they won't be able to run your tool. And then we're going to go to NanoHub and get the process starter on their side of things. That's step A through 12. Okay, so I've pasted this link in chat already. Hayden, if you could repost that, would be helpful. I'm gonna close the door. And here on the repository page, it's hidden here because I have my thing big, but there is this big green button, use this template. So you just hit there. It's gonna take you to this page, and here you're gonna give it your forked repository name. Since I always find this GitHub suggestions funny when I use that, then you can give it a description. And you want your repository to be public, otherwise it's going to be harder for NanoHub to find it later on. And you don't need to worry about including on branches, just hit create repository. And this is actually going to have all the same files that we had before. And it's going to say here that it was generated from the previous repository. So they are exactly the same. Only difference is that this is mine. This is yours. So you can do whatever you want. Now we are going to clone this from the online to the local. And to that you hit the not so big green button. And you're going to have some options for cloning. I'm going to use SSH because I had some, not issues, but it was harder to configure stuff if using HTTPS. But before we go there, I actually should give you time to get git bash, which was also one of the links. And for people that are here in the room, I think you can actually install git bash on your machines. I mean, I did on this computer, so it should be fine. It doesn't require admin privileges. And git bash is a Linux command line, but in my case, I'm running a Linux command line on Windows. So I have all the usual Linux commands instead of Windows. So I can do ls instead of dir, get stuff. Of course, this is an empty folder, but both working. And the difference between this and the regular Linux terminal, if you are using Linux, is that this has built-in Git commands. So this has git clone, git merge, push, pull, all the fun verbs. So I'll give you some time to get git bash and let me know when you've done so. Okay, that's everyone online. People in person, are you good? Okay. So actually to the next step. Gonna have here code. Oh my, on this computer, it has the mouse set up. I navigated to a folder where I want things to live. In my case, here it's on the C drive, and I created this folder for today's class. And then I'm just going to type git clone and the link from here. So I hit code, selected SSH, and then this is a copy button. So I did that. Now I'm going to hit enter. And we see that it created a new folder with the same name as the repository, and it's going to put everything in there. So you don't need to create an extra new folder, but if you want to, you could do a git clone link and then folder. Yes, that selects the. So this, and then because this is the first time that I'm linking to GitHub, it's asking me if I trust the source and whatever else. Just trying to make sure a user is not gonna destroy their computer. But yep, this should be fine. So I did. What? Okay. Remember when I said to use SSH? Never mind, use HTTPS. It's going to be easier. SSH, you actually need to configure SSH keys, whatever. If you've done that before, I think SSH in general works a bit better than HTTPS. So it got cloned to musical octals Sukotash. And if I do list on that folder, we see that all of the folders from the repository and files are also here. Okay, then the next step is to replace the default Jupyter notebook, Delirium.ipnd, which is just the initial page from Delirium with your tool. So I'm gonna just use the file that I made for the widgets. Just gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna delete the Delirium one already. Another option would be to open the Delirium file, and if you haven't seen a Jupyter notebook as text, this is what it looks like. Then I could open this and select all and paste, and that would do the job. And you could skip all the next steps if you did this. So up to you. What I'm going to do is the more involved thing of deleting Delirium here and then changing things. So this is bullet 2. We've replaced Delirium with the new Jupyter file. And now we have to change, now I have to choose the short name and change that in some files. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to choose a name. If you don't do the steps on NanoHub today, you can change the name afterwards, but not if you do the NanoHub steps. And I guess it could look for some examples. So this one that I think one of you reviewed a couple of weeks back. They used COVID vaccine mod as their name. Yes, I actually forgot to tell you what are the restrictions on the name. That's my bad. But that is too fast. So the tool name should be unique and contain 3 to 15 alphanumeric characters, no spaces. And I can never remember if I had an issue with a hyphen or underscore, but one of the two doesn't work. So just keep 2 letters and numbers. Just pretty much considering that I failed to tell you the requirements we can have.
How do you get to create new tool again?
Never mind the right-hand side of the screen right now.
Okay.
We're gonna get to that later. It's just that I think I've deleted what are the restrictions from the slide and I forgot to put them back. That's the only reason why I open up this page. So this is the only relevant part of the right-hand side. Everyone's good. I'm gonna carry on. So now that you've chosen the name for your tool, you're gonna head to the folder where you got your things cloned to. And you're gonna go to bin, sorry, not bin, middleware. Bin is for Computational. Middleware invoke, and this is a text file. So you can open it with Notepad or Notepad++, whatever works. And what we have to change here are a couple of things. First is Tellurium after -t. That tells Nanohub what is the tool name that it's trying to launch. So this should be the short tool name that you've chosen. In my example, I'm gonna do in class how-to. And is there less than 15 characters? 42, 28. Yes. Right. And the other thing that we need to change is what file gets opened by Nanohub. So let me explain a little bit of this series, this command. You don't really need to understand it. And to be frank, I don't understand all of it. For instance, this $@, I'm not sure what it does. But -C is actually telling which command to invoke afterwards, which is the command start Jupyter, then a bunch of options. And finally, @2, I guess, defines what Jupyter Notebook to open. If you replace the Jupyter Notebook in the repository folder, like I did, you just need to change this file name. So just gonna copy widget class. There. And so the things that I've changed here are the option after -T in the 4th line with the short name that you've chosen. And the other thing that I've changed is the Jupyter Notebook file name there. Everything else should stay as is. Yes, I'm gonna upload the slides to Canvas after class or tomorrow morning at most. And right, I forgot to tell everybody that even though we are not live on YouTube, we are being recorded, and we are gonna make the recording available afterwards. But we're gonna upload it to Canvas, not YouTube, because confidentiality stuff that the folk from Libya are gonna talk about. Legal reasons. Okay, if people are okay with it, I'm gonna carry on. Hear any no's? So I carry on. Cool. Right. So this is what we did. Should probably have moved the slide over. Have made my life easier. Yep. We did this part. Did this part. And now we finally gonna get the changes that we made locally to be online. So I'm in the folder that I have cloned my repository, and you can see that I have this parenthesis main on the right hand side of the path. And that parenthesis main tells us that we are in the main branch of this repository in GitHub. We don't need to worry about that today, but if you want to learn Git, and I suggest that you do just for life, that's something that you're going to have to move into. And we can check what changes we've made by issuing the command git status. And we see that we've deleted a file and added a file, but we don't see the changes to the middleware invoke script because I forgot to save it. Now I've hit save. And if I do git status again, now we see that one file was modified, one file was deleted, and one file was added. Now, in our case, we want to add all of the changes to be tracked by Git, and then push all of the changes online. So if you've used a Unix terminal before, you probably have done change directory ... to go one folder up. And that's the meaning of ... in Unix terminals. But there's also single dot. Single dot in Unix terminals is the current folder. So if we do git add to add the changes and dot, we are telling Git to add all of the changes that have been done here and subfolders. So git add dot, enter. And now to check that the changes are actually being tracked, we can do git status again. And now we see the same, sort of the same text that we saw before, only before it was in red, and now it's in green. And if you realize that you've done some mistake, it tells you right here how to unstage the changes. Do git restore -- staged and dot would do all of them. So if I do status again, it's red again. Git add in, and now they're green. So we are almost ready to get things online. We have told Git where the changes are and what changes Git should worry about. And now we need to actually create the commit that we're going to push online. And to do that, we do git commit -m for message. And type in a message inside quotation marks, single or double quotes, both work. Yes, both work. So git commit -m changed for mine. Enter. And what happened? Okay. So because this is the first time I'm committing on this machine, it printed some extra stuff telling me that it has configured some Git options by itself. And then we see that there were 3 files changed with a bunch of insertions and 40 deletions. And those are pretty much line changes. And the widget class notebook is a bit big. That's why that many insertions. And now we can finally push the changes from locally to online. Hopefully there won't be any errors, of course. So I need to sign in to Git. Thankfully it has, why did you open here? Not logged in on the edge, but here. Thank you. That works. And so because I haven't configured some stuff, you can make it so that you don't need to log in. But we saw that extra window pop-up told Git that I wanted to sign in online and did the sign in there. I love magnet links and all the magic they come with. Otherwise, I would need to put in my password, yada yada. Would be a lot of trouble. So I'm going to give people some time to do all of this. So if I just go through the steps again, we did git add, git commit with a message, and finally git push. And yeah, now there's nothing to push, there's nothing to commit, so just threw me back some standard messages. I'm gonna give people another minute or so before carrying on. Have time. Okay. Nobody says anything. I'm gonna carry on. Okay. So carrying on. And this is pretty much everything we need to do on the GitHub side of things. Actually, if I go back to my new repository, musical walk to Sukotash and do a refresh, we see that there was a change 5 minutes ago in 2 places. Wonder what that change was. And actually, you can see exactly what that change was by looking at the commits. So this block here has the commit history and has the commit names and everything else. And here we can see the difference between 2 files. So we see that Tellurium was replaced by widget class, and Tellurium was replaced by in class how2. We see that a file was deleted, so GitHub is not going to bother showing the difference. Difference is trivial. And same idea for the other file that we added in. Yep. We also can see that together with 6 minutes ago, we see the commit message in the middle column. And if you see this, you did everything right. And you're good to go to the next step. And this step is the reason why I prefer using Git Bash than Windows Desktop, or than Git Desktop, sorry, or even Windows command line. Because what NanoHub does is that it looks into the middleware folder and the invoke file, and it tries to execute this file. For some reason, sometimes when we do all of these processes, this file loses the executable permission. In my case here, it hasn't happened. I really don't know why. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to show you what to do if it doesn't say executable file here. And I've tried looking into how to add execution permission to a file on Windows. And it's not pretty or easy or fun. And the command also changes depending on your operating system language, which to me makes absolutely no sense. It's one command if your Windows is set to English, and it's another command if it's set to Japanese. Why? I don't know. So if it doesn't say executable there, we go back to git bash, and we have to issue this command: git update index. Update dash index, one word, dash dash chmod for change mode, yes, change mode, equals plus x. So we are changing mode and adding the x mode. And x mode is execution mode. And what file we want to change? Middleware mode. This chat, we need it. If they're lucky, don't, that would be wonderful. So there, hit enter. Doesn't look like anything happened, but if I do a git status again, well, in my case, it's actually nothing's gonna happen because my file already has run permissions. But if I do this, don't do this, and do a git status, we see that the file was modified. And if don't do this, just gonna okay. So I actually removed the execution permission. I go back here and refresh, we see that the executable file message that was there disappeared. So now when I actually add it back, this issue doesn't look like anything happened. But if I do a git status, we see that a file was actually modified. Do a git commit. Setting a commit and a message. Oh, before I actually do this, I forgot that I need to add the changes. So git add period, correct folder. Now the commit. Now go back here and refresh. We got the executable file back. Gonna give people some time again. For this poll, if you finished with exercise, either if you've finished or if your file never had this problem. So you should have to, yes, you have the command chat, and everything else is something that we've done steps, previous steps. Okay, if I don't hear any complaints, I'm gonna carry on. Okay, carrying on. Now we finally go to so to reach this page here, the way to get there is let me make this. Let me open a new NanoHub page since that one seems to be weird. So to get to the let me make a tool page, you go to NanoHub resources, and you think it's tools, but no, it's upload publish. Then resources. Then you can upload several things, animations, online presentations, whatever else. In our case, it's tools. To make your life easier, you have the straight link in chat. It's not a hard to know link either, nanohub.org/tool/create. Now we can get with these steps. So this is just a form, you have to fill it out. The only thing you will never again be able to change, and so it's the only thing that you really have to pay attention to, is the tool name, which is the short name that we've chosen before. In my case, it's in class how to. Put it there. Give it a title. You can change the title later on. That's all fine. How to. Give it a version number, 1.0, 0.1, since it's not the release version in your case. A one-sentence summary of what your tool does. Don't need to worry about screen size, that's not relevant for Jupyter tools. The repository, you're hosting a Git repository on GitHub, so that's the option. You should check. And here you have to actually tell NanoHub where they should look for their stuff. And in this case, it's the same link as the one from code HTTPS. Okay. Click over here, just paste that there. And then publishing option, in your case, it's a Jupyter notebook. And that's it. The idea is for your tool to be public, so anyone should be able to run your tool. You can restrict access to the code if you want to, up to you. I suggest leaving open and so on. I'm not gonna hit register tool because NanoHub has fought with me before because I've done this too many times. And since your tool gets a DOI, it's gonna exist in perpetuity or until NanoHub doesn't exist anymore. And so every time I've done this, they have a useless page in their side of things that they have to keep in their servers. So I'm not gonna hit register to, but you are free to. And so I can't really show you the next step, but I can show you the slide for the next step. And it's going to take you to another page that's going to have some things on the left for copyright and things like that. You're going to be able to select the copyright license you want to. Has some pre-written options. You just need to change the author and the year, I guess. Before you go there, one strong suggestion I'll make is that in the development team, you should add me. That way I'm gonna have access to your tool in case of things going wrong. It's gonna be easier for all parties. But yeah, other than that, so it's going to take you to this page. In our case, we've already hosted our code online, so you can already hit the link saying my code is committed, working, and ready to be installed, even if it's not working. That link is not going to make your tool live. It's just going to tell NanoHub that they should have someone install your tool in their things and make all the checks to make sure you're not installing a virus or something. And then you're gonna also be able to make a landing page to describe your tool. That's the make the page that describes your tool, create this page. And that, if I go to NanoHub, just open up school. That page is this page here. Right, so you have an abstract. This one doesn't have that many things, but you can, there are several different boxes where authors, references you may do in your tool, powered by sponsors, you may have grants, everything else. After all, it is a publication, so you may actually have to worry a little bit about that. And you're also going to have a space to put in tags to make it easier for to search your tool. The searching functionality in NanoHub is not the best, but you can go to my tools, all tool, and then search for stuff. So Computational has a bunch of Computational things, and I would think that if you have a tellurium tag among your tags, if I search for tellurium, it should bring up your tool as well. But I'm not so sure because if I search for tellurium, only tellurium shows up. And I know there are some tellurium projects there. I mean, a vaccine model for COVID-19 is one of them. Last year. But in any case. Yeah, and that's all the steps you need to make to get your tool online. Any questions?
So should we hold this process, like the actual creation of registering the tool, until we have our model mostly done and the whole IPy notebook kind of worked out?
No, you don't need to. Let me show you one of my tools, for instance. I think this is mine. Yes. So this is my tool that I've made. And you can see that I have the edit button there. So say I've updated something, I would just hit edit here. So here you have the landing page details and everything else to change. If it's hidden context somewhere. Where is it? Now, here. From here to the, I've made an update. But in any case, you can see here that you have the option to say, I've made changes, please install the latest code for testing that book. So if you can have a blank Jupyter notebook, you can get this process started. Doesn't matter. And how I got here was sort of weird. I hit edit, and then I just kept saving and going next. Guess I could go to final tab there, straight. And then it takes me here. And I can tell now how to install the latest version. If I want to go straight here, I can just go to the URL of my tool, add a dash, type status, if I'm remembering right, yes. Why isn't there a one click, let me update my code? Ask them. Any more questions? If not, I'm gonna suggest we take a 5-minute break now, and I'm gonna try to find our invited speakers.
I saw 2 people come to the door, look confused, and then walk in the opposite direction.
That's probably them. So I'll be right back.